Greetings everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Here's your fourth stimulus check update and daily news report. In this video, I will be going over whether a fourth stimulus payment will be approved before August. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says that Congress will advance a $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure package in the Senate this week. This coming Friday, I will be giving away more $75 Amazon gift cards. Please enter the giveaway by subscribing to my channel, leaving a comment below, and also liking this video. Thank you so much, everyone. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer plans to move ahead this week with the process of passing a $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill. Despite the fact that senators negotiating the legislation have yet to reach a consensus on what will be in the bill. Also this week, Chuck Schumer wants Senate Democrats to agree to move forward with a $3.5 trillion budget resolution that they plan to pass without any Republican votes. Schumer is under intense pressure to advance both of President Biden's domestic spending packages before the Senates leave Washington for a scheduled August recess early next month. But there are several Republicans whose votes Chuck Schumer will need to pass the 60-vote threshold to advance the infrastructure bill. This has sounded alarms about the rushed timeline and threatened to vote against any effort to move the bill before negotiators have finished writing it. Ohio Senator Rob Portman, the lead Republican negotiating the deal, said, "We should not have any arbitrary deadline of Wednesday. We should bring the legislation forward when it is ready." But Chuck Schumer sees the deadline as a crucial lever to force a bipartisan group of 22 senators to come to an agreement on tough issues.
Runaway costs and surging inflation are a huge worry for middle-class families. Every survey confirms it. Every conversation confirms it. Over the last 12 months during this economic recovery, the average American worker earned a 3.6% raise. But inflation has risen so steeply that it's turned that into a nearly 2% pay cut. Remember, at the beginning of the year, the Biden administration inherited a historically strong economic trajectory. Thanks to the smart, targeted, bipartisan policies we passed last year, our economy was primed to get millions of Americans back to work with competitive pay while consumers unleashed pent-up demand. But alas, that was before Democrats decided to pour $2 trillion into a long list of liberal pet projects and insist on making it less appealing for workers to actually go back to work. Today, essentials like gas and groceries have gotten more and more expensive. Bigger purchases consumers had put off during the pandemic are getting even further out of reach. Across the country, working families and employers alike are feeling the pinch. An effective tax increase on both the wages and the savings of the middle class. Now, our colleagues weren't flying blind. They weren't naive. They knew they were passing what the White House Chief of Staff said was designed to be the most progressive domestic legislation in a generation. And they knew the risk, which one liberal economist described as, quote, inflationary pressures of a kind we have not seen in a generation. Sure enough, inflation just clocked the fastest year-on-year increase since 2008. But apparently, according to President Biden himself, the solution is, listen to this, even more of the same.
None is more difficult than how to pay for the $579 billion in new infrastructure funding that they agreed to spend early this year. Senator Portman said Republicans had recently axed a provision that would fund part of the upgrades to infrastructure by collecting unpaid taxes. Schumer announced that he intends to file a motion Monday to proceed with a shell bill that would be used as a vehicle for the infrastructure bill once it is written. The bill contains highway funding authorization that has been passed by the House already. Doing so would set up another procedural cloture vote on Wednesday. If 60 senators vote to invoke cloture, that triggers up to 30 hours of debate in the Senate, followed by a vote on the motion to proceed with the shell legislation, according to Schumer's office. In addition to the planned vote this week, the other major test that lies ahead for the infrastructure package is a nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office so-called score of the bill. This is an assessment of how much the package would add to the federal deficit, based on how much the proposed funding would actually pay for. Chuck Schumer has also set an ambitious Wednesday deadline for his caucus to reach an internal agreement to move forward on its massive budget resolution, complete with instructions on a reconciliation. If they can invoke that parliamentary maneuver, Democrats would be able to pass the $3.5 trillion budget with just a simple majority in the Senate, which is evenly divided 50-50 with Republicans, rather than the 60 votes that the GOP could demand through the filibuster rules. So everyone, do you think that our lawmakers should use the budget reconciliation process? Please leave your thoughts in the comments section below. The U.S. economy is now expected to grow by 7% this year. However, as of June 2021, there were still 6.8 million fewer jobs than in February 2020. The vast majority of job losses during the crisis, which was 53%, were experienced in the lowest wage industries, and right now accounts for 30% of all jobs according to the Labor Department employment data. This is the group that saw the most benefit from the first 3 rounds of the stimulus checks that Congress approved since March 2020. Jobs in low-wage industries are still down nearly twice as much as in the middle-wage industries, and 3 times those of high-wage industries. More striking is the number of people who are still unemployed. According to the Census Bureau's Basic Monthly Current Population Survey in early June, over 23 million Americans either met the official definition of unemployed or lived with someone who did. There are almost 3 million Americans who were left out of the official unemployed figure back in May. These include 2.5 million people who did not look for work because of this crisis. It is possible that Democrats will include a 4th round of stimulus payments into the American Families Plan before it is signed into law, as well as the soft infrastructure from proposals in the American Families Plan, which will expand health care coverage, child care, and education. The 2021 child tax credit was increased to $3,600 for children under the age of 6 and $3,000 for children 6 to 17. Half the credit will be paid to eligible families in 6 advance installments, and the remainder can be claimed next year on the 2022 tax returns. That is the end of the video, everyone, for tonight. Thank you so much for being here today. This coming Friday, I will be giving away more $75 Amazon gift cards. Remember, all you have to do to enter the giveaway is subscribe to my channel, leave a comment below, and also like this video. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a very blessed Monday.